It's your man Alex, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you a mid-fade self haircut with a cross design from the beginning to the end with all the useful tips and tricks you will need. With that being said, let's jump right into the video. So starting off the self haircut, I'm going to be using my Babyliss trimmers to put in the first guideline, which is pretty much going to be a skin guideline, getting right down to the nitty gritty to the skin and putting in the guideline just above my ear, and I'm dropping it slightly toward the back of my head near the occipital ridge. And remember, the first step to a self haircut is always the most crucial because you're setting the foundation for the rest of the haircut. So always make sure you're being patient and you're taking your time, especially with the trimmer because you're getting so close to your skin. And now moving on to the second guideline, I'm going to be using the clippers with no guard and the lever open all the way. All right, so the lever is open and I'm going up about 1 full inch from the previous guideline all the way around my head. All right, not half an inch, not 3/4 of an inch, 1 full inch. All right, don't be shy, go the full length. And again, when you're going through your hair, make sure you run the clippers through that exact guideline multiple times so that you don't miss any hairs and the entire zone is the same length. And now for the third guideline, I'm going to be using the number 1 guard with the lever open, again going up 1 full inch all the way around my head, exactly like the previous guideline. And right here you guys can see sometimes I like to stretch out my skin, so I'll pull on my scalp and open up the zone a little bit more so that I can really see all of the details within the zone that I'm cutting. And a really important tip I can tell you guys when it comes to cutting your own hair at home, especially in your bathroom, is changing your bathroom lights to 5,000 kilowatt white LED light bulbs, right? Get 2, get 3 of them. It'll really make a difference and you'll be able to see the hard lines much clearer than if you have those old halogen yellow light bulbs. And now using the number 2 guard lever open to finish off the guideline portion of the self haircut, I'm going to be going up still about 1 full inch from the previous guideline, but I'm going to be going up at a 90-degree angle roughly to keep the haircut parallel with the shape of the haircut that I'm going for, right? I'm not going to be curving the clipper with the shape of my head, right? Because your head's kind of like oval. I'm not going to be cutting with the shape of my head. I'm going to be cutting straight up perpendicular to the ceiling. Alright, so this might be the second most challenging and important part of the self haircut, which is fading in the bald hard line. Alright, so I'm going in with the no guard lever halfway, and I'm going about halfway in between that first hard line, and then I'm going to close the lever all the way. So it's like a 3-step process. Start with the lever halfway and then go lever closed, and then go back to the trimmer to fully remove the hard line. So going in again with the lever halfway, about halfway through the guideline, and then using the lever closed to just flick at the bottom of the hard line and soften it up, and then going back in with the trimmers right afterward to completely flick out the bottom of the hard line. All right, you can use the corners of the trimmer, whichever works better for you, whichever is a little bit easier, whichever one's a little bit more safer. Use the corners of the trimmer, or start from underneath the hard line and flick up into the hard line to completely get rid of it. Again, this is the most challenging part of the fade, and I recommend you take some time to get this one right. So just reiterating my point, right here you can see I'm just using the corners, and right now I'm using the flick out motion, going from beneath the hard line and flicking up into the hard line, but still flicking away from my head so I don't mess up and cut any of the hair that I already faded and blended in. And now I'm going to be using the half guard lever closed, and I'm just going to be pulling my skin like I did earlier in the haircut. So I'm stretching out the skin to open up the space that I'm working in for that particular guideline. And I'm just going to be going in and starting from underneath the hard line and flicking up into the line and then away from my head. All right, so the nice flick out motion, and make sure you run through the hard line in the same positions multiple times so that you get all of the hair and everything's the same length. And now using the 1.5 guard lever closed, I'm going up and doing the same exact thing as the half guard lever closed. So I'm just starting underneath the hard line and flicking up into the hard line as I flick away from my head. And if you guys are liking this tutorial so far, make sure you leave a like, share the video with a friend, and subscribe for more self-haircut tutorials. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Alex Kouras to get all the behind the scenes and to follow along with my personal life and health and fitness journey as well. So next I'm going to be using the thinning shear over comb method to blend in the existing length on the top of my head and then blending that into the sides where the end of the fade is. All right, so that length right by my part line and toward the back of my head, just blending all of that in to the length on top. And a little detail work trick of the trade that not many people use is using the thinning shears, holding them backwards, and then chopping any of the hairs that still are thick and have dense areas in the haircut. All right, so this is a great method that I've been using for a while now to do some detail work on the fade and to blend everything in and make it as gradient as possible. And now that the fade is done, I'm moving on to the beard to really make the haircut come together. So I'm pretty much doing these same exact fading steps, but going in reverse. So instead of cutting upward, I'm cutting downward, going down my beard. So using the same exact fade technique, I do the same thing for my beard. The design part of the haircut is 1000% optional, and you can stop the haircut right now if you want to, because doing a design is a very advanced skill set to do. Now, I chose to do a cross design because it's Christmas right now, and even though the Bible doesn't explicitly give Jesus' exact birth date, he died on a cross for our sins, and the cross symbolizes my appreciation for all the good he's done to the world.
Instinct.
So here we've got the before of the self haircut. You can still see the zigzag lines from my last haircut 2 weeks ago. But you guys, this is the mid-fade cross design self haircut. Let me know in the comments section what you thought of today's self haircut, as well as any haircut or design ideas you'd like me to give myself for a future video. I hope you guys learned something new from today's video, and if you did, make sure you leave a like, share the video with a friend, and subscribe for more self haircut tutorials. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Alex Kouras. Also, don't forget to check out the links in the description down below to check out the tools and equipment I recommend, as well as Self Haircut University, which is my private self haircut program. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you all next time. Peace.